Is that our music of Zen?
Zen.
It is, okay. So she's a former dancer, model, and actress, and for the past 3 years has been recognized as the world's oldest living yoga teacher.
Tao Porchon-Lynch has been bending, stretching, and breathing her way into longevity since the Coolidge presidency. But her positive message today, it's really timeless.
Beautiful.
Meet the real-life Forrest Gump.
Listen to your heartbeat.
Born in India in 1918, Tao moved to France as a young woman. She had early success in modeling for famed designers like Coco Chanel. But when World War II broke out, she found herself drawn into the resistance against Nazi Germany. And it was then that she realized the power of positive change in teaching yoga to others.
I think really and truly the nicest thing that I can accomplish is when somebody says they can't do something and I show them they can.
She toured the U.S. and even wrote over 300 film scripts, combining a career in show business with her love of yoga and call to social activism. She's walked with Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr., but she credits her uncle, who raised her, with teaching her compassion and acceptance.
Never look down on anybody. Know that even a farmer may be illiterate in education, but he knows more about the soil than you do. So you're illiterate about the soil.
What is your secret to success in life?
So when I wake up in the morning, I say, this is going to be the best day of my life.
You really say that to yourself?
Yes. Whatever you put in your mind materializes. So don't materialize anything negative. Materialize everything positive.
She's broken her wrist and had 3 hip replacements. But Tao doesn't count the injuries or even the years. And she has no intention of slowing down.
I'm not interested in what I can't do. Nothing's impossible.
In fact, Tao learned to dance when she was 85. Since then, she won more than 700 first-place dance prizes, even traveling to countries as far away as India, where she danced with Sandeep Sopakar, a famed Bollywood choreographer.
She's a gift, and I think whoever has come across her, they all feel blessed about her.
Tao has inspired people all over the world, young or old. She makes quite an impression on her students.
A little girl, 6 years old, said to me, Tao, what are you going to do when you retire? I said, I'm not going to retire. I said, I'm going to dance my way to the next planet.
In the next half hour, you're going to meet a man.
She's going to dance her way to the next planet. Excellencies, ambassadors, distinguished delegates and guests, Sadhguru, Max Kennedy, thank you for your graciousness, for inviting us here for this landmark discussion on yoga and the Sustainable Development Goals. Please join me in welcoming again my teacher and mentor, Tao Porchon-Lynch. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? That's how Tao's uncle started every morning, modeling the behavior of right thinking and right living. Through his example, he taught Tao that we can choose good and seek union with all that is, and that is yoga. So Tao, your uncle, Tao Porchon, was a student of Swami Vivekananda, who is credited to bringing yoga to the West. And you absorbed the ethical precepts of yoga from him. Ahimsa, compassion of all living things, satya, truthfulness. What was the greatest lesson from your uncle?
Never to ask people to understand you. Always try and understand them. When you go out in this world, think twice about what you're going to say. I'm sorry. I'm not very good with these microphones. And my uncle took me all over the world. He actually, from the time I was a little girl, He was there to help me to face life. He had some very strange ideas, and he was liked by everyone. I would see people coming to see him and ask his advice. And so I met a lot of people. I met Prime Minister, he wasn't Prime Minister then, but Nehru. I also, one day I happened to walk into my house and I saw a little gentleman sitting on the floor with glasses on, looking like this. And I didn't understand why everyone was touching his toes. And so I thought, better not ask any questions at the moment. But 3 weeks later, my uncle said to me, I want you to get a case together. And what you're going to put in it, you're not going to put any beautiful dresses or things, just underwear and some fresh tops. I said, why? He said, I'm taking you on a long trip. I said, where am I going? Oh, you'll see. That was when I met Mahatma Gandhi. He was the gentleman sitting on the floor with everyone touching his toes. This was when I marched with him and saw a bit the horrors of war, even the war of people between each other. And
I'm going to interrupt you, Tao. I have permission to interrupt, Tao. We travel the world doing conversations. So that was the 1930 Salt March. Yeah. And share with us what you learned from Gandhi. You've said that he decorates the walls of your mind. What did he leave with you and that you actually live today?
I think not to be afraid. When you believe in something, go and do it. You will never get in trouble as far as yourself is concerned, but go out and accept life and don't be afraid. And I never was. I faced the war. I decided to go and face the war. I wasn't afraid. Maybe this is silly because now I'm facing life and everyone is telling me, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. But frankly, what Gandhi taught me has been with me all my life. Never ask anybody to understand you. You understand them. I'm a little bit shaky, for I hope you'll forgive me.
So a sense of fearlessness, which you carried through, in the war as a French resistance fighter, helping people escape the Nazis, as an actress, as a model. And while you were living fully in the world, you studied with a who's who of spiritual leaders. So Sri Aurobindo, since you were little, he was a friend of your uncle. And then BKS Iyengar, you convinced him to start teaching women. Patabi Joyce, Maharishi, Dr. Romana Soya. So from all of these influences as a backdrop, what is yoga?
What's yoga?
What is yoga?
What is yoga? It's the oneness behind all things that brings people together. And it really works. When you're tuning in, yoga is to take a deep breath inside of you. And when you feel inside of you, your heart beating, you're opening up the door to life. You're opening up the door to your innermost self, to the power that's within you and which is within all creatures. So I think that is one of the major things. Never be afraid, but always tune in. And as you listen to your own heartbeat, you don't have to pray to something in space. The Lord of all creation is already right inside of you. And you have to put it into practice. And yoga is one way of moving into that inner self. To take a breath this very moment and know that every single person in this room is tuning in to their inner self. And sometimes this is a silly little remark, but also I was teaching yoga in Kripalu, and suddenly I saw 7 gentlemen in my class, and they were digging around like this. And I said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "There's a bug." I said, "So what?" "Well, we're trying to kill it." I said, "You're not going to kill it in my class. That tiny little creature that's on the floor that you can't even get to is beating you, has the same heartbeat as you do." And they looked at me a little shocked. And they said, "But we have to kill it." I said, "No, nobody kills anything when they're with me. I believe that it doesn't matter whether I was once a child and I was listening to the grass grow. And my aunt thought I was a little bit nutty. And Dad said, told my uncle, "I think there's something wrong with her." He said, "No, even that blade of grass had to take a breath to pierce the earth and become what it is today." And so I've learned always, no matter what the situation is, never be afraid, but tune in to your inner self, and you will find that there's nothing you can't do. Never procrastinate or put things off until tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes. 1 minute after midnight is already today. So when you want to do something, just go out and do it if you believe in it. And so I try to use that theory when I'm doing yoga. When people are telling me, "Oh, you're getting old," I don't believe them. I look at all the trees around me that are hundreds of years old, and that same energy that's in that tree is recycled every year. So I'm recycling my own inner self, and I'm learning to live. And I'm sorry, I'm a little bit crazy with my explanation. Forgive me.
No. So when you were young, you were listening to the grass grow. So you've always had this oneness with nature. You've been a big environmentalist all of your life. And when people ask you about meditation, what your practice is, you often say, "My life is my meditation." What does that mean?
Well, words are cheap. They really are. You can explain a lot of things with words. Practice is what you must do. And I feel that whatever I believe in, I don't want to spend time, with thinking of all the things that can go wrong, because you're materializing it. So when I wake up every morning, I say, "This is going to be the best day of my life." And you know something, now if you go to Jamaica or anywhere, they have this thing where they say, "Tao says, this is going to be the best day of my life." And they start to chant it. It's ridiculous, really. I just want to show people, don't be afraid. The power inside of you is there. But don't waste your time thinking about it. Think only the good, and you will materialize the good. And that's my feeling, how to live my life. I try to do it all the time.
Well, I travel with you a lot, and you do. Dr. Deepak Chopra said of you, "One of the most acclaimed yoga teachers of our century, a mentor to me. Like yoga, she teaches us to have exquisite awareness in every moment." And that noticing, that heightened awareness is mindfulness and is yoga. And you often say that breath can be a gateway to peace. If we can breathe together, we can be together. Talk about breath for a moment.
Well, a lot of people take a breath, but actually all they do is go like that. To me, when you're taking a breath, tune in. And sometimes in my class, I let people stay on their tummy and just tune in. I don't want to tune into space. I want to tune into inside of me. Let it reveal itself. How can I get through it? It actually works, you know. Honestly, I've had a few people who told me they were going to commit suicide, and they wanted the family to give in to them. And I said, why are you committing suicide? What are you trying to avoid? Are you trying to avoid the faces of people? I just go and know that you can turn around everything. We need to bring the oneness of life into our whole being, into the way we live, and to know that even the people we don't like very much, we can, don't clutter up our mind with that, but know that I can reach inside them and maybe touch them one day, and we can learn from each other that there is a oneness, and it's very important.
So you can share a breath together. So at almost 98 years old, Tao can still hold her body up on her fingertips in a raised lotus position. And in the last 6 months, you've been to Mumbai, Dubai, Slovenia, Montenegro, the Bahamas. Last June, you danced on America's Got Talent. Next month, you're doing a dance championship in Las Vegas. And then in August, we'll be in Paris to film France's Got Talent. So you seem to have boundless energy. And you've said, in my head, I'm still in my 20s, and I have no intention of ever growing up. So how has yoga helped you with your own vitality, mentally and physically?
Well, it's very easy to sit and talk like this right here. How many of us are really breathing deeply inside of us? That's the whole truth. Know that within you is the power behind all things. And that power will actually open up and show you the path to how to live and how to face your problems and how to get together. I spend so much time listening to people who are always sitting there like this. And one of them said to me, oh, well, it's all right at your age. And I said, well, how old are you? Well, I'm 72. And someone told me another thing. I said, well, that's all right then. You're my children. So let's all do it together and know that nothing is impossible. Within you is the power to do everything. Never say, I can or cannot. You only can, fruit and vegetables. The verb is to be able. Go out and do what you feel inside of you. Don't just think about it. Materialize it. Put it into action. It works. It really does. Because you don't know how scared I was coming here.
So Tao, you are an example of what almost a century of conscious living looks like. And if we, as leaders, live yoga and model mindfulness and sustainability as you do, then we will make decisions with heightened awareness and create a more harmonious world. So thank you very much for your insights, and I'll let you close with a shanti or shalom.
Well, just as we all sit here, just a little thing. A little boy said to me, I was teaching some Kung Fu children, 3 to 6 and 6 to 12. And suddenly I had a little boy come up to me, and he said to me, Tao, I agree with you completely. We must bring the oneness in the schools together. And in my classes, his mother tried to pull him away from me, so he went around the back and continued on the other side. He said, because in my school, I am adopting a oneness program. And I said, that's very good. And he said, will you help me? I said, yes, of course. You get up, and whatever you have in mind, you put down, and you try and do it. Don't spend your wasted time thinking about things that you don't do. Words are cheap, but go, whatever you believe in, start the day with that. It's going to be the best day of my life, and I'm passing it on to everybody. That's the only thing I feel. I wake up in the morning, and I look at the birds, and I look at all the animals that I adore, and I'd rather they have food than I do. So I have a half a grapefruit. And if my friends and my students can get me to eat more, they try to take me out.
You have pure prana, so you don't need it. So, well, with you in the room, it's a beautiful day, isn't it? So thank you again for sharing your insights.